Is she the biggest draw in women's tennis right now?
Yes.
Is she bigger than Sabalenka? Is she bigger than Coco?
Dude, it's crazy. She's having the same effect that Fonseca was having, like, on the men's side last year in Miami.
It's like Fonseca, but I think it's bigger than Fonseca.
It is, yeah, it is.
Like, the Doha, like, crowds were insane for her last week.
If she wins a slam, it would be like one of the biggest things in the world.
Yeah, correct.
She's definitely one to watch, obviously because she's so good, but just for the atmosphere. You want to tune into her matches just to see what it's like on the court.
There's got to be like a little jealousy maybe from some of the other the women. The girls coming in, she's not top 10, biggest star in the world.
March in the desert is supposed to be calm. At Indian Wells, the air usually carries prestige, not chaos. But the moment Alexandra Eala arrived, everything changed. Suddenly, the Coachella Valley wasn't just hosting a tournament, it was witnessing a surge of energy no one expected. Ticket prices started soaring, crowds swelled, and the buzz felt electric. This wasn't a Grand Slam final. It was only the beginning. Yet somehow the atmosphere already felt like the main event had arrived.
Double-sided sword, I think, on one end it does push on the flow because, that they're free and they sport. On the other hand, it hurts a little more and it's a little harder to accept because, you want to do the best for them, but yeah, I think I gave it my all today and there were no regrets, so I'm happy about that. Yeah.
At the center of the storm stands 20-year-old Filipina left-hander Alexandra Eala, who has already turned the BNP Paribas Open into tennis's hottest spectacle before even hitting a single ball in the main draw.
Eiala is really good for tennis. I'm not just talking about entertainment, I'm talking about the fact that she can bring a crowd. Alex had a really epic comeback against Sasnovich. And honestly, I think the crowd were pivotal to her success today. Do have to give so much credit to Sasnovich for the way that she carried herself during the match, because I can imagine having pretty much the whole stadium cheering for your opponent be really heavy and really intense, but she was still smiling towards the end of it, so full kudos to her.
This isn't routine hype or another feel-good underdog story going viral. What's unfolding in the California desert at the BNP Paribas Open is far bigger. Fueled by the meteoric rise of Alexandra Eala, belief has traveled across continents and erupted inside one of tennis's most prestigious arenas, catching the sports establishment completely off guard.
I had a sneak look about 5 hours ago, and I don't think it could have worked out any better for Alex Eiala. The reason that draw couldn't have been any better is because both of those players are playing at a venue where it doesn't suit their game. Either one of them would prefer conditions that were a lot faster, and really you'd want them both in better form. So Alex is going to play someone who's not in great form. Yastremska has only had 2 wins.
Inside the Indian Wells Tennis Garden, organizers are quietly scrambling. Placing Alexandra Eala on an outer court suddenly feels impossible. Smaller stadiums that once hosted early matches now look inadequate, like staging a world tour in a school gym. Demand, crowds, and noise already outgrow the space.
What you want, but tennis, the WTA has a superstar in Alexandra Eala. As much as I've been saying for the last 2 years, tennis needs a superstar, yes. They have stars. They have Coco Gauff. They have Iga Swiatek. They have Sabalenka. However, when it comes to selling out those first, second, third round matches, the Philippine fans, they show up, they show out. And they've been doing this since at least the US Open, when I first noticed it, when she had that amazing match versus Clara Tauson. Clara Tauson just beat McCartney Kessler, and I would love to see Eiala versus Tauson.
The BNP Paribas Open has long carried the nickname the 5th Grand Slam. But this year, the tournament almost feels rebranded by pure fan energy. Much of that electricity surrounds one player, Alexandra Eala, whose arrival has transformed the mood around the desert event. And if anyone thinks the excitement is just online hype, the reaction from inside the sport tells a different story. On the popular tennis podcast Nothing Major, former ATP standouts Sam Querrey, John Isner, and Steve Johnson spent serious time debating a question that marketing executives across the tour may already be asking quietly: is Eala the biggest draw in women's tennis right now? That isn't a casual compliment. These are players who have walked onto the biggest stages in the sport, including the legendary grass courts of the championships, Wimbledon. They know what real pressure feels like, what massive crowds sound like, and what it means when a player suddenly becomes the center of attention. Even they sounded surprised by the scale of what is happening. Because this doesn't feel like gradual momentum. It feels like ignition. The surge didn't suddenly begin in California. It has been building steadily across the tour. At the Australian Open practice courts overflowed with spectators trying to catch a glimpse of the rising star. Weeks later in the Middle East, the atmosphere during the Dubai Tennis Championships felt closer to a national team showdown than a routine stop on the calendar, with fans packing every available viewing spot. Now Eala arrives in Southern California, home to one of the world's largest Filipino-American communities, an element that could amplify the moment even further inside the stands at Indian Wells. Yet the surge surrounding her isn't powered by sentiment alone. It's grounded in results. Eala enters the tournament fresh off a powerful run in Dubai, where she stormed into the quarterfinals of a WTA 1000 event while dismantling several elite opponents along the way. That breakout performance pushed her to a career-high world ranking of No. 31, an achievement that carries real significance in the unforgiving mathematics of professional tennis rankings. In a sport where hype fades quickly without victories to support it, Eala is doing something far more dangerous for her rivals. She isn't just generating attention. She's winning.
Not in on that, but I completely disagree with your first assessment. I do not think Eiala gets through Iga. I think we saw a little bit of a hiccup here against Svitolina. Svitolina, a very tough opponent, but Eiala, again, like Paul was saying, just too much experience on the Iga Swiatek side. I do think it will be a close two-setter. I think it'll be maybe a 5-2, 5-3 situation because the teenage firepower, she's bringing some heat out there.
All right, looking for it. You got my attention. You got everyone's attention.
Now I know how I get to
Reaching World No. 31 means far more than a ranking for Alexandra Eala at the BNP Paribas Open. It changes her entire position in the tournament. She arrives as a seeded player, which means a first-round bye. More importantly, it gives her something every competitor values: time. Time to recover, study the draw, and work closely with her team at the Rafa Nadal Academy, analyzing potential matchups with surgical precision. The Academy's influence is obvious in Eala's game. Her heavy topspin, disciplined shot patterns, and calm patience combined with bursts of controlled aggression reflect the structured philosophy she developed there. The excitement surrounding her may feel explosive, but behind it sits a carefully built foundation. For the first time in her professional career, Eala isn't chasing an opportunity. She's already inside the room. The commercial world has taken notice as well. Before arriving in the desert, she made a stop at Nike headquarters in Beaverton. What awaited her wasn't a routine sponsor appearance. Displays across campus highlighted key moments of her career, while creative installations inspired by the Sampaguita flower honored her Filipino heritage. Companies don't create tributes like that out of courtesy, they do it when the numbers demand attention. Merchandise sales are rising. Social media engagement is surging. Markets across Southeast Asia and North America suddenly look wider and more energized. All of that creates a logistical puzzle inside the Indian Wells tennis garden. Traditionally, a newly seeded player might begin on an outer court. Not this time. Placing Eala on a small court would create chaos. Her matches now demand Stadium 1 or Stadium 2, not because of past trophies, but because of present gravity. And imagine drawing her in the second round. You've prepared your entire life for this stage. You walk through the tunnel expecting a balanced crowd. Instead, it feels like an away match. Cheers erupt after every winner she hits, and suddenly the atmosphere shifts completely. The pressure isn't just coming from across the net anymore, it's coming from the stand.
Is so good for tennis because she can clearly play really well and brings the drama and brings the fun, but also she's bringing the crowds as well. The stadium today was absolutely packed. Dare I say that the Filipino crowd for Alex Eiala is challenging the likes of João Fonseca's crowds with the Brazilians. After losing the first set 6-2 and then being down 4-love in the third, to come back and win it on a tiebreak.
Every unforced error against Alexandra Eala triggers a wave of sound that seems to shake the stadium. It's the kind of noise you feel in your chest, not just here. And that noise changes matches. Forehands tighten. Second serves arrive a little faster than planned. Suddenly every point feels heavier on the scoreboard. Earlier this season at the Dubai Tennis Championships, Coco Gauff spoke openly about the mental gymnastics required to compete against a pro Eala crowd. When even a Grand Slam champion has to mentally reset to handle that energy, imagine the challenge for players still learning how to manage pressure on the biggest stages. Now picture that intensity inside the main arena at the Indian Wells Tennis Garden during the BNP Paribas Open. Sound ricochets off steel and concrete, echoing through the stadium under the desert sun. This isn't background noise. It's pressure. And here's the twist: Eala thrives in it. There are no dramatic gestures or emotional outbursts. Just calm execution. The conditions in Indian Wells actually amplify her strengths. The tournament's gritty hard courts grip the ball and create a high, explosive bounce. Combine that with the dry desert air of the Coachella Valley, and the ball travels quickly but jumps sharply off the surface. Those conditions reward heavy topspin, patience, and players who build points with discipline rather than rushing them. Sound familiar?
What do you think of Eiala's challenge? Like she won the first set and she...
Well, I think she's kind of like she has nothing to lose and she go out there and she just play with the courage and then like going for like crazy shots, I think, and then I think that's also like kind of like putting some pressure on Iga when she see like someone is not like really afraid of her and then putting pressure back on her. So I think it's all about this, and it's interesting to see like if the player like got to like top level, and it's interesting to see like if they can stay there and maintain the level. So I think
here's the uncomfortable truth few people say out loud. Women's tennis doesn't just need great players. It needs gravitational forces athletes who pull the entire sport toward them. Aryna Sabalenka is phenomenal. Power, presence, trophies, intimidation, she checks every technical box. But dominance doesn't always equal magnetism. Winning titles doesn't automatically guarantee packed stadiums or emotionally invested crowds. That's where the difference appears. Sabalenka arrives with her ranking. Alexandra Eala arrives with a nation. And not just a nation, a global diaspora that shows up loudly and visibly. Flags wave in the stands. Chants break out between points. Social feeds explode with every highlight. When Eala steps onto the court, she isn't walking out alone. She carries a collective identity with her, and that presence changes the entire atmosphere. For years, tennis has searched for a bridge, someone capable of expanding the sport's audience while still competing at the highest level. Eala appears to be building that bridge in real time. Right now, many players are competing for trophies. Eala is competing for trophies while simultaneously bringing an entire generation of new viewers into the sport. The BNP Paribas Open, that shift is becoming impossible to ignore. The rankings may list her as world no. 31, but the ticket market tells a different story. Sponsors see long-term potential. Crowds sense something bigger. When she finally walks onto court in the California desert, the applause won't simply echo across the valley. It will surge like a wave, less like the start of a match and more like the unveiling of a new era in tennis.
And everyone's looking forward to a possible final between you and Iga, like the final you had last year. Of course, it's still far away. What did you get to see your match yesterday? What do you think of it? And also the challenge put up by Alex Eala.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was a great match, and honestly, I think like Iga didn't really start well. She was missing a lot, but then she kind of like found her rhythm and she started playing much better, and she put a lot of pressure on Eiala and got the win. Yeah, it was a great match from Iga, kind of like nice comeback after like really tough start.
Yeah.
The desert wasn't ready for this, but Alexandra Eala was. Once the noise settles into a steady roar and the first ball is struck at the BNP Paribas Open, the marketing buzz, ticket hysteria, and cultural symbolism fade away. What remains is the raw geometry of tennis, the baseline, the serve, the return, and a hard court baking under the desert sun. That's where her game becomes truly dangerous. Indian Wells has a reputation for slow, gritty surfaces that reward patience and punish hesitation. The court grips the ball, producing a high bounce that turns heavy topspin into a weapon. Opponents are pushed backward, angles shrink, and time disappears. Rally by rally, point by point, control quietly shifts. But the physical patterns tell only half the story. Psychologically, this isn't the same Eala grinding through smaller tournaments 2 seasons ago. This is a player who has battled deep into a WTA 1000 event and faced elite competition with growing confidence. That experience matters. At this level, confidence is subtle. It appears in the choice of a bold shot on breakpoint, in stepping inside the baseline at 30 all, or in calm body language after a double fault. There's no panic, no rush, just a reset and the next point. In every sense, she looks prepared for the desert.
Events. They're both woefully out of form. Eiala is going in the big favour.
Well, also, she'll be exhausted from playing last week, but Eiala took a break last week. She took a break after the Middle East, and so that she's preparing herself for the big event, Indian Wells.
And she takes to the court on Friday. Alex will have had over 2 weeks off since she lost to Coco Gauff in Dubai. So she'll be ready to go, refreshed. And I'm very confident that...
And that composure only grows stronger inside a stadium leaning heavily in favor of Alexandra Eala. Imagine standing on the opposite side of the net at the BNP Paribas Open. You grind through an exhausting 8-minute rally, finally force an error, and instead of relief you hear 15,000 spectators release a wave of disappointment. You hold serve after multiple deuces, yet the reaction feels strangely quiet, almost reluctant. Then Eala threads a backhand down the line, and the stadium explodes. It isn't hostility. It's gravity. Momentum behaves differently in that environment. One break of serve can suddenly feel like a landslide. A quick three-point run can swing the emotional balance of an entire set. Even experienced professionals sometimes rush, trying to force a spectacular shot just to silence the roar. Then there's her serve, often overlooked. It's not the fastest on tour, but it's strategically sharp. A wide slice on the ad side pulls right-handers far off the court. A sudden body serve jams rhythm at tense moments. And on the gritty courts of Indian Wells, even a moderate serve becomes dangerous when followed by her heavy first forehand. That simple combination serve, then forehand can turn tactical precision into a nearly unbreakable advantage.
Has that kind of pitbull, like Sibulkova was a little bit like that to me as well.
Obviously, one of the storylines last week was Alex Eala and the massive crowds that she was bringing to Dubai. I think it was perhaps maybe more notable there because that's not a tournament that is typically packed. The Filipino fans had come to watch their player. And I'm wondering if you can tell us, in terms of her actual tennis, what is it that she does so well?
Well, there's a lot of things that she does really well, and I think there's a lot of things that make her opponents feel very uncomfortable. One of the things that she can't control is that she's
Here's where the story grows deeper. The BNP Paribas Open has always been a measuring stick in professional tennis. Success in the desert carries weight. Breakthroughs here shift perceptions across the tour. Coaches study the draw sheets more carefully, and locker rooms quietly recalibrate their expectations. For Alexandra Eala, this isn't just another tournament stop. A deep run would do more than add ranking points, it would validate her position inside the world's top tier. The conversation would quickly evolve from whether she belongs in the top 30 to how soon she could break into the top 20 at the same time. The commercial ripple is impossible to ignore. Brands are watching. Broadcast networks are watching. The Women's Tennis Association understands the potential of unlocking Southeast Asia's massive tennis audience. Representation fuels engagement, engagement drives revenue, and revenue eventually reshapes schedules, broadcasts, and global promotion. Yet the irony of tennis remains unchanged. None of that guarantees a single hold of serve. When the score reaches breakpoint at 4-4 in the third set, hype disappears. Headlines vanish. Only precision, patience, and composure remain.
My coach told me to run, to go for every ball, take all the opportunities I can because 5-time Grand Slam champion is not gonna give you the win.
Very emotional for you, very emotional for your camp today. Will you remember this day for the rest of your life? It is the biggest day of your career here at the Miami Open.
It's forever in my heart.
And you're forever in our heart.
The real test for Alexandra Eala won't arrive with the opening roar at the BNP Paribas Open. It will come in the quiet moments of a match during changeovers when the crowd fades and self-doubt tries to creep in, or when an opponent suddenly storms through 3 straight games and the scoreboard tightens. That's when we'll see the true measure of this rising force. Movements can spark cultural waves, but sustained excellence in tennis demands something colder and steadier: discipline, resilience, and control under pressure. The frenzy in the Coachella Valley may have started with crashing ticket servers and soaring resale prices, but its meaning will ultimately be decided inside the lines of the court. If Eala navigates this test with the same poise she showed during her run at the Dubai Tennis Championships, the desert will remember more than a sold-out crowd. It may remember the moment the sport quietly acknowledged a shift.